I'm back with my two great guests, Senator Bryan Hughes, Texas Senator District 1, and Representative Shelby Slawson, Texas Representative District 59. These are the architects of the Texas pro-life law. Shelby, let me start with you. I want to ask about Roe versus Wade because on the one hand, the Texas law is kind of pending a major Supreme Court decision, which is not about the Texas case, but the Mississippi case, a Mississippi case that by and large imposes restrictions on abortion after 15 weeks. My question is, do you see the Texas law and the Mississippi law kind of running hand in hand? Or is it possible that whatever the Supreme Court decides about Roe, let's say even that they decide to keep it intact, could the Supreme Court at the same time signal to Texas and other states that, hey, listen, here's another way to sort of do an end run around Roe, and it's possible to have, in a sense, pro-life states with Roe versus Wade still kind of officially or quasi-officially the law of the land?
Oh, absolutely. This is a multifaceted approach. And one thing that we saw very quickly after that Supreme Court ruling was a number of other states, Florida, South Dakota, jumped up right away saying they were reevaluating what they were doing, looking at the Texas law. We've had in our office, and I'm sure Senator Hughes as well, numerous other states reach out wanting some information on how to model the Texas bill to suit their state. So there is a lot of interest well outside of Texas. But we're also at the same time watching for that Mississippi case to come through. And Texas passed a trigger ban at the same day we passed the heartbeat bill, so that if Roe is overturned, abortion will be eliminated in Texas upon the overturning of Roe. We've had a number of things. The heartbeat bill has taken a bit of the spotlight, but it is definitely multi-targeted to eliminate abortion.
I mean, to me, one of the things that's so wonderful about this law and the way that it's playing out is it's showing not only the left, but it's showing the Supreme Court that the world doesn't end, even though abortions are severely restricted in Texas right now. Life goes on as normal. The catastrophes, the left, oh, there'll be social convulsions. There will be all. This is actually not coming to pass. We can live in an America where there's, you may almost call it moral diversity. States that are more conservative have stricter laws. States that are more liberal have more permissive laws. So this could be very important information for the court. Let me turn to you, Bryan, if I may, because I just saw on social media that Facebook has, in effect, censored a live action video, a video put out by Live Action. Tell us a little bit about the video, what it shows, and why it's being censored.
This is such a sad example of how the left is afraid of the truth. They're not for free speech. They are not liberal, and certainly in the classical sense or even the literal sense. They're not for an exchange of ideas. They are for controlling the message and shutting down everyone who disagrees. So what about a video that shows development of the little baby inside her mother's womb? Not gory pictures of a little aborted baby, but the baby developing normally inside her mother's womb. As you know, those images are striking. And when you see that little baby, you know it's a little baby. You know, you're in your heart and you know in your head. And they don't want people to see that. They don't want people to see that. So this oligarchy we have of these social media giants in San Francisco are trying to keep people from seeing the truth. We're dealing with that in Texas as well, but it shows that they're afraid of a debate. They're afraid of a real exchange of ideas.
I mean, what you're saying is that even though they claim that they are censoring misinformation, in fact, they are censoring information. What scares them, in other words, is not lies. What scares them is the truth, that people might be able. This is probably the same reason, by the way, that Planned Parenthood does. If you go into Planned Parenthood, you say, I want an abortion, they're not going to show you an ultrasound of what's happening inside your womb because they're afraid that if they did, you might go, oh, wow, I had no idea. Maybe I don't want to do this. So it is the truth that scares them, doesn't it? And not their stated motive. It's they're doing a kind of Orwellian reversal here, aren't they?
I'm afraid that's exactly right. You know, in Texas, when we passed the Woman's Right to Know Act, where a woman has to be given the truth about the development of her baby, also risk to her own health, that's affected the number of women choosing abortion. And when we passed the sonogram law, in fact, our current Lieutenant Governor, Dan Patrick, was then a Texas senator. It was his baby. When we passed the sonogram law, which requires them to show that image to the mother, as you would imagine, hundreds, thousands of women are seeing that image and are realizing that's a little baby growing inside me. That's my baby. I'm going to think twice before I do this. More information. If we give women more information to make better choices, they're going to choose life.
Now, Bryan, you are also one of the key figures in the Texas law, a different law, that is an attempt to go after digital censorship. Can you talk for a moment about, because I mean, so many of us feel a little helpless in the face of this sort of sword of Damocles hanging over our head. We can be deplatformed, kicked off at any time, no really good reason given at all. I don't know of any other company in America that operates like this. Airlines can't cancel your tickets without cause and just go, oh, yeah, you know, we just decided you're unsuitable to fly even though you bought your ticket. What I want to find out is, what can states do, Florida, Texas, to sort of push back against this digital censorship? What is the effect of the law that you are a key figure in passing? What's that going to do to give Texans, us, the rights to push back against digital censorship?
So we're excited about this. You know, Section 230 of the federal law, the Communications Decency Act, limits what we can do. We've read that carefully, got some good lawyers, law professors helping us, and we believe we've threaded the needle to allow Texans to get back online. And you get it. Many conservatives are nervous. They say these are private companies, just go somewhere else. But of course, as you noted, airlines, I mean, these companies are common carriers. Your cable company doesn't knock you off because of your religion. They're not allowed to do that. Your cell phone company can't deny you service because of your politics. So under this law, we are threading the needle with Section 230. And if a social media company discriminates against you based on your religion, your politics, your free speech, you can get back online. This was written, we know it's going to be challenged. It was written to be challenged and to be upheld. The company said they're going to sue us. We welcome the lawsuit. We can't wait to get this in front of the Supreme Court. Justice Thomas has already roadmapped it for us. These companies are common carriers in the English common law sense, in the modern sense, and they cannot be allowed to have that kind of market share, that kind of control, and stifle free speech. So we're very encouraged. Florida's law was partially enjoined. Part of it's still in effect. We wrote our bill seeing what Florida did, and we believe this is going to work, and we can't wait for other states to do the same thing.
I mean, if I can quote a memorable line from Justice Thomas, he says, by and large, that if you're driving your car and there's a toll bridge that takes you across a river, it's not enough for the company to say, well, hey, listen, you don't have to go over the toll bridge. You can swim across the river. There are other alternatives available to you. Justice Thomas goes, that's complete nonsense. You're supposed to be providing a service to the public at large. You can't deny people arbitrarily that service. And seems to me you're applying, aren't you, the same kind of logic to these digital companies?
Exactly the kind of logic. They're the only game in town. You're right. You could always swim the river, but laws recognized for centuries now that when you have that kind of market share, providing that kind of service, you take all comers. You're a common carrier, and that makes sense here. And so we're looking forward to seeing this upheld.
This is awesome. Well, Senator Bryan Hughes, Representative Shelby Slawson, what a pleasure to have you both. You're doing great work. Keep it up. Thanks for all you're doing for Texas and indeed for the country. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having us.